Once upon a time, in a quiet village, nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, lived a little boy named Tommy. Tommy was 7 years old, curious beyond his years, and clever with words. His brown eyes sparkled with mischief, and he always seemed to have a reply ready on the tip of his tongue. But there was one thing Tommy had not yet learned: the power of respect. Tommy loved his family deeply: his mother, who worked hard in the kitchen and garden; his father, who carved beautiful furniture from wood. But despite his love, Tommy had developed a habit of talking back. If his mother asked him to wash his hands before dinner, he would grumble,
"Why? I didn't touch anything dirty."
If his father told him to pick up his toys, Tommy would retort,
"You're not the boss of me."
At first, the family tried to be patient.
"He's just going through a phase,"
His mother said.
"You'll grow out of it."
His father added. But as weeks turned into months, Tammy's talking back became sharper, louder, and more frequent. It wasn't just at home anymore. He began arguing with his teacher at school, making fun of neighbors, and even rolling his eyes when the village elder gave advice during festivals. The other children started to avoid him. Adults shook their heads when he passed by. One day, something changed. It was a crisp autumn morning when the village was busy preparing for the harvest festival. Everyone had a role. Tammy's father was building a stage, and his mother was baking honey cakes. Tommy, however, was sulking under a tree because he'd been told he couldn't climb the roof to hang lanterns.
"You never let me do anything fun."
He yelled at his mother.
"You don't trust me. You treat me like a baby."
His words hurt her more than he knew. She didn't shout. She didn't scold. She simply turned away and continued baking. Later that day, his father asked him to help carry wood.
"Why don't you do it yourself?
Tommy snapped.
You're stronger than me."
Again, no anger, just silence. That night, Tommy sat alone at the dinner table. No one said much. The food was there, but it tasted like nothing, and for the first time, Tommy felt lonely. The next morning, Tommy found a note under his pillow. It wasn't from his mother or father. It was a neatly folded letter with careful handwriting.
Dear Tommy, you have a brave heart, but your words are like thorns. If you wish to understand what it means to speak kindly, follow the path behind the old oak tree. Sincerely, someone who cares.
He blinked. He thought it was a joke, but something tugged at him, a small voice, different from the one that always shouted or snapped. This one whispered, "Go, learn, change." So he packed a little bag with bread, water, and a sketch of his family. Then he crept out before sunrise and walked to the old oak tree at the edge of the forest. Behind it, a narrow path twisted through the trees, glowing faintly with morning light. As Tommy walked, he met many strange and wise creatures. First, he met an old crow who couldn't speak, only caw. Tommy grew frustrated quickly and shouted,
"Can't you just talk like everyone else?"
The crow dropped a feather and flew off. Tommy picked up the feather. Written on it were the words,
"Before you speak, try listening."
Next, he met a gentle bear with a honey-sweet voice, who spoke slowly and kindly. Tommy snapped.
"Why do you talk so slowly? It's boring."
The bear didn't answer. Instead, he gave Tommy a cracked mirror. On its surface, words appeared.
"Your words reflect who you are. Choose wisely."
Further down the path, he came to a sparkling lake. A girl no older than him stood at its edge, arguing with her reflection. She yelled at it, mocked it, and told it wasn't good enough. Then she turned to Tommy and asked,
"Why is no one nice to me?"
Tommy stared at her, and for the first time he understood.
"Because maybe you're not being kind to them."
The girl vanished into mist, and the lake shimmered. Tommy looked into the water and saw his own face, angry, lonely, and confused. When Tommy returned home after 3 days, he was dirty, tired, and quiet. He didn't talk back when his father asked where he'd been. He didn't argue when his mother pulled him into a tearful hug. Instead, he whispered,
"I'm sorry."
From that day on, Tommy tried harder. He still spoke his mind, but with kindness. He still questioned things, but with curiosity instead of defiance. He still got angry sometimes. He was human, after all, but he learned to take a breath, to think, and to listen, and slowly, things changed. People smiled when they saw him again. His teacher asked him thoughtful questions. His parents began to trust him with more responsibilities. He learned that words are not just sounds, they are seeds. If planted with anger, they grow into thorns. But if planted with care, they grow into flowers. And from that moment forward, Tommy tried to be a gardener of words.